Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another wonderful episode of FCM Live presents TFCC Profiles. I'm your host, Jerry Caingcoy, TFCC founder. Tonight it's going to be another wonderful evening, although it's very cold in this part of the country, here in this beautiful city of Calgary, the province of Alberta. Time check is 20 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock in the evening. It's Friday evening here in Calgary. It's beautiful, but what can be more beautiful than having one of the most beautiful women here in the Philcan community in Calgary? For the last couple of years, since 2015, the Filipino Champions of Canada has been highlighting our community and some of our outstanding personalities in our community in support of our vision of connecting, sharing, and inspiring one Filipino at a time. Without further ado, help me welcome my guest for tonight, Madealh Yamyamin. Hi, Madealh.
Good evening, Kuya Jerry. Good evening, everyone. It is my greatest pleasure to be here with you today.
Yes, it is also our honor and our pleasure to have you on our TFCC profiles. And you're one of those very, very active in our community. I've seen you join and participate, engage yourself in so many of the events that we have in our community. Before we dive into our wonderful discussion tonight, for our audience sake, can you please tell us and our audience anything that you want our audience to know about yourself?
I am Madealh Yamyamin. I was Mrs. Filipinas Canada 2016. I am currently Mrs. Woman of the Universe Canada, and I am vying for the international crown as Mrs. Woman of the Universe.
That's awesome, Madealh. Thanks for joining us tonight, and it's really something that our community is always very proud and excited to see a Filipino woman like you joining international pageants. As we all know, the Philippines is a powerhouse of beauty pageants. We'll talk more about that as we continue with our discussion tonight. But Madealh, I have read in your profile that you have joined several pageants in the Philippines. And I believe that the Mrs. Filipinas Canada pageant is your first or was your first international pageant outside of the Philippines. Can you share to our audience what was it like winning this pageant? What was the most significant impact it has to you as the winner of this most prestigious crown?
Winning this most prestigious crown, Miss Kuya Jerry, like Mrs. Filipinas Canada, this is very, very important and special to me because this was my first crown as a married woman. So, in the past, I've really won different pageants, but this one is really special because it has paved way to different opportunities for me. Say, for example, I've gained lots of brand endorsements. I have the feeling of giving back to the community more than what I used to. And also what's very important is that I've gained lifelong relationships with people who were just like strangers in the past. So they were just they were just strangers to me, and we became very close friends, and I consider them now as my families.
That's wonderful. It certainly did a really great job of defining you as a woman. But before we talk about some of the great things that you have experienced personally in being a beauty queen, and not only just a beauty queen but also a woman who is married, and joining a pageant is not something that is very normal to others, but you have this platform and you have this voice where you can actually inspire a lot of women out there who are watching us right now. So there has been so many misconceptions about beauty pageants, and as we know, the Philippines is very, very one of the countries that's very passionate about beauty pageant. And in fact, beauty pageant is among the top 3 events in our country, which is second to boxing and basketball, among the top 3 major events that our country looks forward to watching, right? So to you as a beauty queen, what's the most what's the biggest misconception about beauty pageants that as a beauty queen, or what you've heard from other people?
Yeah, so you're right, Kuya Jerry. So some people really misconstrue beauty pageants just like a showcase of men and women, just purely physical beauty. But in fact, beauty pageants are really very effective instruments for people empowerment, not just women empowerment, but people empowerment. It can also be like a celebration of humanity. And most especially, it is a venue for us to create lasting relationships. So those three really, I think, are the most effective things that come about from beauty pageants, which people don't understand. Oh, not all, but some people don't really understand.
Very well said, Madeahl. Spoken like a true beauty queen. I remember this philosophy of Plato that beauty is connected to truth and goodness. And I think that's what beauty pageant is all about. Anything that is beauty, anything that is talking about goodness and about truth is beautiful. And you are pretty much in a very, very powerful lane. Continue with what you're doing, and I'm sure that you can continue to inspire a lot of women in our community, not just in our community, but in the greater Canadian community. All right. Now, as a Filipino Canadian community, over the last couple of years, personally and in terms of my engagement with so many people in our community, I do believe that as a community, we have evolved into a very dynamic, vibrant community. As we evolve into becoming vibrant and a dynamic community, we are also changing as people in our community. So my question for you, what do you think, or how do you define a modern Filipino woman?
Oh, that's very interesting. So, in my opinion, a modern Filipina is a balance between strength and gentleness. So a modern Filipina is strong, and she's very willing to speak up for what is right. She's really very willing as well to act upon what is good for everyone. So she is strong in that aspect, but her gentleness is manifested in her kindness, in her compassion, and in her generosity to people around her.
Wow, very well said. Every time I see a beauty queen and I look to that crown on your head and to this sash on your body, I do believe that crown is not just a crown. That crown is a symbol of strength. It's a symbol of compassion, and it has really that power to change many lives and to inspire people. And having that sash, Woman of the Universe Canada 2019, I think it's not just a word or a lettering on your body, but it's actually a very, very powerful way of inspiring other people and changing the world. And as a Filipino modern woman, I do agree with what you've said. You continue to be still the Filipino woman that you are, but you have now this voice, and you are now more confident, and that you can be a part of this, not only of our community, but the greater Canadian society as a whole. All right. There has been so many challenges as well with regards to women in the workplace and in terms of career, in so many other aspects. What do you think, can you cite one issue that women faces today based on your personal experience?
Okay, so there are several issues, Kuya Jerry, that people face or women face in general. But as for me, one issue that women really struggle this time is the inability to conceive. Some people may not really think about this one, but the inability to conceive, to be is also an issue that we have to address. So based on studies, there's like 1 in 4 couples in developing countries that struggle to have kids, to have babies, to make them feel that they are complete as a family. So of course there are like treatments, there are solutions, there's IVF, there is surgeries, but we must also understand that those solutions are not very effective for everyone. So it is in my mind to diminish this social pressure of infertility, the stigma. So I want people to understand that despite not having kids, not having babies, life still goes on. And life, if we choose it to be, will always be beautiful.
Wow, that is very interesting insights that you have shared to us. And it just dawned on me that just listening to what you've said is that as a woman, you are not defined by just being a mother. You are defined as a woman who is just more than just bearing a kid, and having kids. And so I guess, you have touched a very, very sensitive topic, but also such an eye-opener for our audience. Thank you for sharing that, Madeahl.
My pleasure, Kuya.
All right, so you are into this upcoming international pageant. And first of all, I do congratulate you in advance for, not just, being contented of joining a local pageant and just having this open mind and have this ability and inspiration to join and to continue to improve yourself and to challenge yourself. Can you tell us about this upcoming international pageant that you will be joining in a couple of weeks, which is the Woman of the Universe Canada 2019 candidate?
Okay, so Mrs. Woman of the Universe is an international pageant, and this celebrates diversity, this celebrates brilliance, talents, and advocacies. So women around the world, I heard there are lots already that I'm competing against. Women from around the world will gather in a week-long competition in Las Vegas in June this year. And so I am very, very excited already to represent Canada, to represent the community, the Filipino community, and Canada in general. Because this is different from all the other pageants in the past. This differs in the sense that we are more encouraged to act upon our individual advocacies.
Okay, talking about advocacies, when we already talk about it, Las Vegas is really a great place to be, and I know we have so many Filipinos in Las Vegas. I hope that you will, follow Madeahl. She's on Facebook. Just, send her a message. Come out and support her in the coming weeks. When she competes at this most prestigious pageant as Mrs. Woman of the Universe 2019, representing Canada, the Filipino-Canadian community here in Canada. If you are from Las Vegas, I know we have so many Filipinos in Las Vegas. Please send some love to Madeahl and send out message or keep in touch with her. And I know that's going to be a big support to her in this competition. All right. So you've just mentioned about the vision of this international pageant that you are joining. Can you tell us your personal advocacy in support of the vision of the Mrs. Woman of the Universe pageant?
Kuya Jerry, I'm always an advocate for homelessness to end. So it is but each person's basic need to live in a safe, comfortable, and a clean abode. But sad to say, there are many people, Kuya Jerry, that suffer from living in the street, in abandoned buildings, in parks. And they just continually move from one place to another without any clear direction nor any sense of security. So this homelessness is just a part, or it's just an aspect that we see alongside there are really deeper issues that is connected to homelessness. For example, these people suffer from hunger. They don't know if they could eat like 3 times a day. We eat more than 3 times a day. We could eat whatever we want. They also suffer from illnesses. They suffer from unemployment. Other than that, they always have this feeling that they never know what will happen the next day or even the night. Where are they gonna sleep? Right? So I always believe that if these people will have the chance to be employed again, to be given the opportunity to learn new skills, and to be able to, Kuya Jerry, to be able to have the access to very low cost housing, that would really make these individuals happier and productive citizens.
Wow. That's amazing. And, when it comes to homelessness, it just, touches the heart of everyone. And we know that this is a sad reality. Even in first world country, in North America, we see this happening. And more so in the third world countries. And as part of a great community, not only as part of the Filipino-Canadian community, but as well as the greater Canadian community, this is my personal take on this, that everyone is an important member of fiber of a community, and everyone can help. Madeahl here has a platform as a beauty queen, but I do believe that if we all come together and help, we can end homelessness. We can, provide better housing, provide support and resources to those people and families and kids who are actually in this situation. So, Madeahl, talking about homelessness, I do believe that, as you continue with your reign and your journey in this international pageant, I know that you will do very well, because this just, speaks to a lot of people. And I know that we have all the capability of helping in many ways. It's not all about money. It's not all about really who has the most resources, but sometimes, we can volunteer, we can make ourselves available. There are just so many people out there who may need more than the material things. Sometimes it's just being around there to support them, to pray for them, and to be with them during those times that they are, suffering from whatever effects of homelessness. So, Madeahl, international pageant is not an easy thing. And as we all know, the competition over the years, the beauty pageant has become so institutionalized, become so very structured, and a very strong, program for those who are joining. And it's not just an overnight situation or a few days of preparation. Can you share to us, what are your preparations? I know it's not easy to prepare with all this discipline and all these practices. So what are your preparations?
Okay, first off, physically, I always go to Miliano for my skincare. I always meet up with my dance crew, the dance beauty queens, because they always help me choreograph dances for my talent presentation.
Yeah.
And most importantly, Kuya Jerry, I always make it a point to communicate with community leaders, such as you, such as Kuya Eric, Abel, Ate Marietta, Ate Renda, Earl, all those community leaders, Hanilet, Kuya Alan, and Narayan from the Nepali community. He's been helping me too, because you guys are the source of my advice, of like very sound, practical, logical advice, and you guys are also source of my guidance as I journey in this international pageant. So it really gives me morale and spirit, knowing that people are here to support me in my dreams and in my endeavors. As you may know, Kuya Jerry, or if like, it is not easy to join in a pageant, more so if you're going international, resource-wise. So with this in mind, I hope that the community helps me in any way, shape, or form, and that will send me to the universe.
You know, Madeahl, you are not alone in this journey. The Filipino-Canadian community has proven to be generous at all times. It's one of our, distinct character or trait as a Filipino community. The hospitality and the generosity of our people is just amazing. And if you are listening, whether you're here in Calgary, in Alberta, or in Canada, send some love to Madeahl. She's not just representing herself. The thing with this beauty pageant is that she carries the whole of our community with her. And we want to support her, and we want everyone to be part of this journey, because this is not just an individual journey, but this is a journey for our community, for our country. So you know what? How do we support Madeahl? One is follow her on her Facebook, on social media, and also whatever ways or forms or shapes that you can help her. Please reach out to Madeahl, or reach out to FCM, the Filipino Canadian magazine, or to the Filipino Champions of Canada, and we'll get you connected to Madeahl. I know it's not easy, and I really appreciate, and I have a very high respect and admiration to people like you who continues to challenge themselves and to serve as an inspiration to many Filipinos in our community. And I know that whatever happens, you will really do a very good job of not only inspiring our community, but the universe. Madeahl, as a Filipino community here in Calgary, I have seen you involved in so many of the events in our community. Keep doing that. It is very important for you to always get connected and be a part of this beautiful community that we do have. And we are all proud to be part of a vibrant Filipino-Canadian community. And over the years, we have seen really so many outstanding Filipino-Canadians who are actually active contributors, not only in building our community, but as well as building this great Canadian society. So with that, last year in June, the government of Alberta has proclaimed June as the Heritage Month of the Filipino. This is because this is to recognize the contribution of the Filipinos in building this great province or this great country, Canada. So my question for you, if you are given the chance to speak to non-Filipinos, because I do believe that this is not just our celebration. This is not just a celebration of our heritage. This is a celebration of us showcasing our heritage, so that we can showcase our community, we can showcase our people, we can showcase our traits and values to the greater Canadian community. So being a beauty queen with a platform as a candidate for Mrs. Woman of the Universe 2019, what can you say, or what inspiring message you can tell our audience, especially the non-Filipinos, about our beautiful culture and heritage?
Okay. To our non-Filipino friends, the Philippine culture and heritage goes beyond the centuries-old artifacts, the fascinating artwork we have, or the delicious food that Philippines have. It even goes beyond the presence of more than 180 languages and dialects that we have. The Filipino culture is distinct because of the Filipino people. It is the Filipinos' deep faith in the Supreme Being, our close family ties, and Kuya Jerry, our abilities to preserve our own culture and to adapt to changes, to adapt to cultures of different countries. So those three factors, they really make the Philippine culture and heritage very distinct.
Wow. You have said all the things that we could think about what our culture and heritage is all about. But to add to that, I would say that our culture is something that we should be proud of, that especially for Filipinos, young generation here in this country, most of our young generation has been born and raised here. It is very important for our people to have a very, very strong sense of cultural identity, because we are very privileged to live in this country where we are given this opportunity to celebrate our culture, to celebrate our heritage, and to be who we are without being, diminished or being persecuted. We can live the way we want to live our lives, and that is the beauty of being part of this great nation. So as we celebrate our Heritage Month in June, I hope that you guys, whether you're here in Calgary, in Alberta, or across Canada, I hope that you will all look forward to this month where we can celebrate our heritage, our culture, and our people. And as part of the Filipino Champions of Canada's vision of highlighting our community, watch out for our TFCC Heritage Month Gala, where we will continue to highlight our people, because we do believe that we have such an amazing community where we can showcase to the world, not only to our community, that we have what it takes to be part of this greater Canadian community, not only as an active contributor in building this great nation, but I think that we have what it takes to lead and to be a part of this great country. So, it's been always a pleasure to talk to people like Madeahl. And I know that you will do well in your competition, Madeahl. I know that the Filipino-Canadian community is one of the most amazing and passionate fans all over the world. We have here a Filipino woman, a very outstanding personality here in our community in Calgary. I hope you guys would follow her, support her, and be part of her journey. Madeahl, for your last message, this is your time to thank everyone who have supported you, and to also invite our audience to support you in your international competition. Go ahead.
From the deepest of my heart, I really, really want to thank so many people. As early as I've announced my the pageant, the international pageant, there were so many people already who have lent a hand, who have promised to help me. And those people, Kuya Jerry, my national director, that is Earl, my talent manager, Hanilet, and Kuya Alan, Ate Renda. She's not in Calgary, but she has communicated with me a lot to ensure that I will have everything that I will need for the pageant. To the Nepali community, to the Filipino-Canadian community, to everyone. So thank you so much for everything. Thank you, Kuya Jerry, to all the community leaders, Ate Marietta. I want to thank also my mom, who's always been very, very supportive. Most especially, I want to thank my husband, who has been with me since day one. Thank you so much, babe. And to God be all the glory. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madeahl, for joining us in this wonderful conversation tonight. Thanks for joining us as well. If you have some questions, comment on the link below. And also, thanks for supporting FCM Live TFCC Profiles, brought to you by the Filipino-Canadian Magazine, Filipino-Canadian Media, and the Filipino Champions of Canada. Once again, I'm your host, Jerry Caingcoy, TFCC founder. Good evening, everyone.